Honorable Men Discord. Ciara crashes Jim Jones interview. Let's talk about it.
How you see yourself is how you perceived. I see a man strong, gifted, head strapping, never down on his knees, begging. Gotta make a way, even in my darkest hour. Say the odds against me was new. I would never cower.
As always, welcome back to another episode. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Tell your mother, tell your father, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your uncle, tell your aunt, tell your cousins, tell your work bestie, whoever, to subscribe to this channel. Also, I don't know why I haven't said it already. Happy belated Father's Day to all those fathers out there. I hope you had a good Father's Day. But let's get into this thing with Ciara. If you're unaware of it, this was just some interviews going on at the BET Awards, and Jim Jones had his artist, I think Pesos, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me if I mess up the guy's name, but he had his artist with him, and it appears that Chrissy was there also. You know, Jim Jones' longtime partner, Chrissy. Now, Ciara was passing by and decided to just drop in. So I'm going to play a few seconds of when Ciara was passing by, and then I'm going to go into the actual thing that she said to Jim Jones during his interview, and then I'm going to speak on it. So let's get into it.
Guys, how are y'all? I got my crutches.
Well, I'm on it. Let's sit down.
Oh, come on, because we need this to happen. I'm sorry, because I just really need this to happen. I don't want to get mad at me because I don't know how you even feel, but I really need y'all to just go ahead and I'm coming in hot.
No.
Should I just stay on what I'm on right now?
Stay on it. Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
gonna stay on it because why not?
Okay. And now I'm going to go into this.
Why not? Like, y'all have lived life in every capacity anyone could live it in. You live in like you've already done it. So let's just seal it properly. Seal it properly, because you know what? He deserves it. You deserve it. Why not? Like, I look at y'all and I'm like, they're so cute, they're so fly. Chrissy is so beautiful and so dope, and she holds you down, like down, down, down. Like, this is a spirit talking through me right now. I'm just saying, like, I saw you and I got excited because I love what you are making me to music and what you meant to me coming up. And also when I see y'all, like, from a love perspective, y'all, like, touch so many people. It's time. It's time.
But let me be your flowers. You was here to give me them words of encouragement and the words of advice. I really need.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Why not?
All right, I'm going to stop it there because it was finished. So this is an easy one for me. If this was baseball, this would be a grand slam. It would be a home run. It's not a bunt. It's easy. All right. Ciara was wrong. Let's start there. Ciara was wrong. If you think I'm wrong for saying Ciara is wrong, I'll see you in the comments. Keep it respectful. My delete finger is notorious. Okay, my delete finger is notorious. Ciara was wrong. And when I first saw this clip, I didn't realize, I think Chrissy was sitting there next to Jim Jones' artist. All right, I think Chrissy's the one on the end. Right now, regardless if Chrissy was there or not, I'm gonna tell you why Ciara is wrong. The only time I think it's acceptable, and even then it's really not respectful, forget about acceptable, it's really not respectful to interrupt someone's interview. The only time I would say it's possibly acceptable is if Ciara was a pastor for a very long time. Like, if she was known to be a pastor. And that's not to say that she's not led by the Spirit. That's not to say that, her faith isn't strong, and, but if she was a pastor, a known pastor, and the pastor was passing by and did this, I don't think a lot of people would have reacted the way they're reacting to this video footage. All right. The second way this would be acceptable is if Ciara was like really, really good friends of Jim Jones and Chrissy. Maybe she is, right? But if she isn't, she's playing herself. All right, those are the only two ways I see this being acceptable. And even then, it may not even be acceptable because the man's having an interview. He's trying to, promote his brand. He's trying to promote his artist. That could wait, you know. And I'm gonna chalk this up to no, she's not really good friends with them. And the reason why I'm assuming that is because if you had their phone numbers and if you had a relationship with them, you could just stand by, wait until the man's finished, or you could signal to Chrissy, if that was Chrissy at the end, and tell her, I'm gonna give you a phone call. You can make the gesture like, I'll call you. You can do that, right? What you're not gonna do is interrupt. All right, so now let's get into why I'm standing on 10 toes down. Ciara's wrong. And women that are watching this episode, pay close attention, right? This is the kind of thing that frustrates men all day, every day. All right? Ciara, we're going to just speak to the fact that Ciara is married. Forget about, I'm not going to do the hypothetical if Ciara was single. We're gonna deal with the facts. Ciara's married to the New York Giants, which is my team's new quarterback in Russell Wilson. That's who she's married to, right? They have children. They have a blended family because I believe Ciara has a child by Future. And from what I saw on other videos, she's had multiple other relationships, which is fine. I mean, she's married now, so I'm not going into her past relationships. But hear me out on this. You're married to someone, right? And listen, you're married to someone, chill out. All right? The lead is Russell Wilson. Is he doing a good job at leading? I'm going to have to say no. All right? And I know it's not his fault because I don't know whether or not he was there when she did this. Maybe he was standing by. Maybe he was a few feet back. It actually makes it worse if he was actually there. Because if I'm there and my wife utters that she's planning on doing that, I'm telling her, do not do that. All right? Now, if Russell Wilson's not there, we'll give him some slack. But listen, first and foremost, I'm not a fan of women addressing men. It's different if, let me put this into context, because I know it's going to ruffle feathers. It's different if it's a work setting and it's a male superior, a male colleague. But in a situation like this, I don't think she knows Jim Jones that well. She knows of him. Maybe they shared a few words. But whether you feel like you were led by the Spirit or not, you are not interrupting a man's interview to then go, you interrupt his interview, then you proceed to try to tell him how he should operate within his relationship. See, this is a major problem and a major red flag. Because first of all, the topic on, I just covered the topic with K. Michelle reaching out to successful men. She was speaking to successful men. She just skipped over all the other men that may be successful in their own right. The 9-to-5ers, there's successful men, blue collar men out there, But no, she skipped across that. She just wants to speak to Cam Newton and all the successful men, But that's Michelle. That's K. Michelle. She has her own issues, right? Ciara here is addressing a man who is successful, interrupts his interview. Oh, by the way, need I say, what other nationality of women is doing that? All right, and I can't help myself. I try to just generalize my content, but it brings it right back to the reason why I'm motivated to do this channel is to address the issues within the community. And by all means, again, I will most certainly have topics, generalized topics that I discuss. But I can't help but to think, what other nationality of women that are married is going to interrupt a man's interview and proceed to tell the man that he should be making the move to marry his longtime girlfriend? That's not your place, sweetie. It's not your place. It is not your place. Women, do not follow Ciara. It's not your place. And the crazy thing about it is then when conversations happen, it's, you know, conversations like K Michelle saying in her interview that women are looking, black women in particular, are looking for men to lead, right? But then it's like it's smoke and mirrors. It's like it sounds good. There's a lot of things going out there that are being said out there that sounds good, but when it comes to application and actually applying it, all of a sudden we get confused as how these things work. If a man is leading, he's leading. It's not just to say he's leading, right? And part of him being able to lead is by you stepping back and you falling back, you being submissive, right? And how that looks is you respecting the fact that, oh, I see Jim Jones and I see Chrissy. Jim Jones is talking. It's his interview. It's clearly not Chrissy's because Chrissy's not an entertainer, right? I see Jim Jones next to another guy. He must be an artist. What makes you think that was the appropriate time to now interrupt his interview to speak on what you were speaking on? And it's so smooth to say I was led by the Spirit because no one wants to be disrespectful to you at that point because, you know, you're saying you were led by the Spirit. So let me hear what the Spirit has to say. Even for people that aren't religious, if you say you were led by the Spirit, they might be curious to hear, as you know, what you have to say. Let me hear what the Spirit told you, you know. But completely out of line, and disrespectful to the man. Why do you feel that you are you're in the right to address a man during an interview? I feel like I need to make an episode. You know, I did the prom etiquette, or whether or not there is a prom etiquette, whether or not there is a graduation etiquette. What does it look like to have etiquette? Is there a female etiquette in terms of relationships? Is there a female etiquette? How does that look within a relationship? Because one thing that we know for certain is that it's in 2025 and even before 2025, what's going on now is selective submission. That sounds like a great title. Anyone steal it? Remember, just make sure you give me my credit for that. Selective submission. I think I definitely need to make an episode on that. You heard it here first, Honorable Men Discord. Yeah, this selective submission. You're out of pocket, Ciara. You are out of pocket. You're out of line. However, what other way you want to phrase it, you're wrong. All right? You're wrong. Jim Jones looked extremely uncomfortable. Extremely uncomfortable. All right? And then on top of that, you're a female, a well-known female, who, by all means, as far as notoriety, I think it's safe to say Ciara is a little bit more well-known nationally than Jim Jones. If you disagree with me, you can see me in the comments on that. So it's almost one of those things where it's like, had she been Glorilla or someone, not to say Glorilla is not successful, but had she been somebody maybe on Jim Jones level or lower than Jim Jones, maybe he might have been a little bit aggressive with her. But this is Ciara. You know, she's very well known. All right. And especially now with her attachment to Russell Wilson. So Jim Jones, in a rare moment, in a rare occasion, found himself stuck. And you could see it. He's stuck. He feels like, what is going on right now? In his head, he must have said, I want this to be over with. Especially if that's actually Chrissy at the end next to his artist. Horrible. I'm interested in hearing everyone's take on this. My take is Ciara's wrong. I'll just keep saying it. She's wrong. She's wrong. And the problem with her doing things like this is it perpetuates, women thinking that these type of things are acceptable. It's almost, all right, so this is no different than if men are having a conversation and a woman just interjects the conversation without saying excuse me. Unacceptable. As a matter of fact, speaking on that, I was speaking with a gentleman at work, and a female that knows him. Now, I didn't even know she was walking, or she stood beside me. She just started having a conversation to the point where I turned around because I heard the voice. I turned around, I looked at her, and she was asking him a question, and there was no respect for the fact that two men are talking. You know, K Michelle, going back to the K Michelle interview on Cam Newton's show, she broke out into tears because it's like, you know, she really wants to see black families succeed. She wants it to succeed, but not only succeed, but succeed in the right way, you know, where there's no games and things of that nature, which I respect her for saying that. But towards the end of that, Cam Newton said, you know, I waved the flag, you know, I've done wrong. I'm paraphrasing what he said. He's like, but he also put the spotlight on K Michelle and women, you know, and things like this are a perfect example. Things of what I just shared about at work is a perfect example of the lack of respect for men. And this is a Western world issue more than it is the rest of the world. In the rest of the world, women don't do that. This is definitely a Western world example, and I'll continue to make reference to the Western world, because in what world outside of the Western world would you see two men talking and a woman just interrupt, not even say excuse me? And be honest with you, I held back from saying something to her because it's the politics of I'm at work, and if I come across aggressive, she's going to run across the street to HR and say, oh, this guy was aggressive with me. I was scared. Because by all means, when people are rude, my first inclination is to be aggressive. I can't, you know, it's something I have to work on, but, you know, I don't like rude people. I really don't. Because I lead with respect, and I try to exemplify manners, which is like a lost thing for many people. It's not even a thing with the black community. I could have a whole nother episode on the lack of manners. All right. But yeah, what Ciara did by interrupting Jim Jones' interview is a lack of respect for men. Again, they're not doing that in other countries. They are not doing it in other countries. As a matter of fact, even if the female knew the man and woman that she wanted to speak to in that moment, she would have enough respect and enough wherewithal to not do that. She would know not to do that, because one, is just disrespectful and it's rude. Spirit or not, whether or not you were led by the Spirit or not, it's rude. There's a time and place, and that wasn't the time. It could have been the place, but that wasn't the time. She could have waited until it was finished. But what's your thoughts on all of this? That's my thoughts on it. I don't want to turn this into an hour interview because I could just ramble on different examples of just the lack of respect for men. You know, again, I could do an episode on proper etiquette within relationships and what men are looking for from women. And by all means, the funny thing about the society we live in is when a man, and this is a perfect example of disrespect, when a man addresses what they expect from a female, the females automatically want to make an episode about what they expect from the man. And here's the issue with it, right? Not to say that women's word shouldn't be valued in their thoughts, but am I leading or are you challenging me? Which one is it? Am I leading or are you challenging me? Because if for everything that I bring up, you bring up how you see it, that sounds more like you're challenging me than I'm leading. It sounds like we're in competition on who's leading. Because if I'm leading, then you'll show it in action. And I stand on that. And for those of you that don't like it, men or women, I'll see you in the comments. Just keep it respectful. My delete finger's notorious. It hasn't failed. I hit that button quick. Respectfully, I hit that button quick. I don't know you. You don't know me. If you come in my comments disrespectful, I'll delete you. Because unfortunately, look at what happened in Las Vegas. I covered that also. Unfortunate situation. A husband and wife lose their life over stupidity. But that's all I have today. Again, happy belated Father's Day. I appreciate everyone that hit that subscribe button dearly. Hit the like button. I'll see you on the next episode. Take care.